The IPO market is kicking into gear, and if you want to buy the farm, well, you can, because one of them is a farm IPO. It's called Gladstone Land. Francis, they own 12 farms, so if you told someone, hey, you can buy the farm, you can buy it here, but does that make it a good IPO?
Well, not necessarily. I look back in time, and they filed for a $226 million IPO in 2008 in August. Of course, then the bottom fell out. This one's a $50 million IPO. What they do is they buy farmland in California and some in Florida, and then they turn around and they want to sell it on the IPO at 1.7 times book. It says it's a REIT, but it also says it may not be a REIT. So I don't like that indecision, that unclarity. And
right, they said they may not have enough money coming in to keep that REIT status up.
Right, they really don't know, because what they do is they buy the property and they sell it to corporate farmers or individual farmers. The leases come up every 3 years. It's kind of an iffy business plan that sounded good at first, but when you look at the numbers, it's not so good.
Then we also have Callow Bio's pharmaceutical, another small IPO right in the $50 million range. Now, these biotech IPOs have been pricing below their planned range and then eventually doing better. Do you think we're going to see that happen again?
Well, I'm not. Maybe on this one, it's a monoclonal antibody company that's got a partnership with Sanofi, the vaccine division, and Sanofi put in $35 million a couple years ago and $5 million last summer, and that's been contract revenue. They're still in stage 1 and 2 clinical trials. It's impressive they have a big corporate partner. They could get $250 million eventually from the corporate partner, but it really depends on the clinical trials, and we don't really know what's happening with those. So I would kind of watch that one for the time being.
Then we have another even smaller biotech company, Stemline. Stemline is only $25 million on its IPO. However, it is in a very promising area of cancer stem cells. So what is your take on this one?
Well, they've had problems doing their IPOs. It's been filed several times and postponed. There was another, it's a cancer stem cell company, which is very interesting. One went public about a year ago called Veristem that was based in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and that's up a little bit. But this one, they released results in November and in early January, and they basically got rid of cancer in 2 or 3 patients, and those patients were pretty far gone. And so what cancer stem cell research is it gets at the heart of the cancer. When people have tumors, chemotherapy kills the tumors, hopefully, and everything else around it. But it leaves the stem cells, the cancer stem cells. So what they have is a method of identifying some of those cells and identifying a cure for it. And on one treatment for each of those 2 patients, the cancer went away. So that is really stunning. So I think this company is either going to become a very good company or it's going to go bankrupt. I'm not sure which. I hope it continues to do well. Those were preclinical trials, by the way, so it's a long way from having a drug that can be sold.
Well, it sounds like for these 3 IPOs, they are small, and they also sound a little bit risky on each of them, so investors need to be very wary before they get involved with these 3 companies.